Hello and welcome. I'm Alexandra Dupree from Brown Arts Institute. I want to welcome and thank you all for joining us today for our third segment with Kriolu Voices Sounding in partnership with the Cabo Verdean American Community Development Center. Brown Arts Institute is a university-wide research enterprise and catalyst for the arts at Brown that creates new work and supports, amplifies, and adds new dimensions to the creative practices of Brown Arts departments, faculty, students, and community. The Ignite series showcases a diverse array of offerings from across our Brown Arts ecosystem, and we are very excited to welcome you guys as part of this. So please put your hands together as we welcome our panel. Thank you. Welcome to this afternoon's panel and workshop, which is titled Return to the Source, Amílcar Cabral's Creole Pan-Africanist Politics and the Rise of Batuku and Funaná. This evening, our discussion and workshop will focus on the sound worlds engendered by the Cabo Verdean Revolution for Independence from Portugal. In particular, we will discuss the musical genres of Batuku and Funaná, Afro-descendant traditions that hail from the archipelago's largest island, Santiago, asking how these genres carried symbolic weight throughout and beyond the epoch of independence, including Cabo Verde's U.S. diasporic communities. Our panelists' conversation will highlight the revolutionary politics of culture, especially the intertwining of the Cape Verdean Creole language and Cabo Verdean music as tools of resistance, and will explore the echoes of Cabo Verdean revolutionary nationhood in today's political and sonic spheres.
This panel's practitioner is renowned and prolific composer Carlos "Calu" Guida Moreno, who draws upon revolutionary ideology and the soundscapes of his youth in Santiago to continually create music, especially Batuku and Funaná, and the decolonization in tradition. Moreno is also personally implicated in the webs of affiliation among the musicians and political figures active in the era of independence, and as such brings firsthand knowledge of the philosophies that animated their work. Tonight, Mr. Moreno is in conversation with political scientist Abel Djassi Amado, who is professor at Simmons University. Dr. Amado's work centers on Portuguese-speaking African countries in the post-colonial context, with a particular focus on language policy and anti-colonial nationalism. Please welcome Mr. Moreno and Dr. Amado.
So, to start off the conversation, I'd love to have each of you just speak to your personal history and relationship with Cabo Verde and its political life during independence and since then. Why does Cabo Verdean independence matter to you personally and to your work?
Okay, so I can start. Boa tarde, gente. Como está? So before I can respond to your question, I think I want to make a brief statement about this institution. Brown University, as you know, has a dark history regarding slavery. It is important to mention that, but it's also important to mention that this institution benefited a lot from the Cabo Verdean community. In the 1960s, 1970s, many Cabo Verdean Americans were expelled from their home as Brown was expanding. So it is important to mention that before I can talk about my connection with Cabo Verde independence. I like to think of myself more like a midnight son, according to Naipaul, who has written extensively on the politics of independence in the Caribbean. As a midnight son in the sense that I was born at the period of independence, so I do have this rather organic connection with the Cabo Verde as an independent state. In fact, I'm a couple months older than Cabo Verde as a sovereign state. More than that, my connection with sovereign sovereign Cabo Verde, with this independent Cabo Verde, there is also another dimension which goes to the heart of my own identity. Luckily, I was named Abel Djassi. To those of you who are not familiar with his name, was Amílcar Cabral, nom de guerre, during the revolution, during the war of for national liberation. So you can see that the connections are stronger, deeper, and in one word, organic. So talking about the politics of independence, talking about the construction of the state and nation in Cabo Verde and in other parts of the African continent is something that I'm very passionate, and that's something that I've been researching a lot and publishing a lot.
Great stuff, great stuff. Boa tarde. Tudo alguém está direto?
Sim,
Tudo alguém está direto?
sim.
All right. So my name is Carlos Moreno, well known as Calu Guida. Was born and raised in Santiago, São Domingos, where I had an opportunity to meet a lot of our icons and learn a lot about our culture, and especially in the music field, because I was born in a house that my grandmother was Rainha de Tabanca. So I had a very strong background on Tabanca, Batuku, Funaná, and Martin Colelera, because I was fortunate enough to I didn't ask to born there, but I was born in the era where there the music itself was the instrument used to conduct the liberation of a country, especially in Funaná, for example. It was a much stronger genre of music where I don't know if it's by design or by accident, they use instrument that came with a different purpose. Gaita, for example, they came with a purpose for religious purpose, so they can worship to replace organ. So they used the instrument against. So I was there. I was probably 10 years old, but I saw the movement that it created around Santiago specifically. But after the independence, they were that I can really start to get involved in those type of movements, those type of organizations and stuff. So there I came to understand and create awareness that I can be part of something that besides, because the fight was not final, okay? Until independence, just the beginning. So there's a different phase. So I embrace it deeply. I grew up I joined the force, military, for 2 years, and I was able to understand the struggle and the planning for liberation, and which I embrace and I love so much, because if it wasn't for that, I don't know today where all of us would be. Because being independent is so awesome, because it frees your mind, so you can really speak up your mind and know that you have no boundaries and no limitation in what you want to do. And for 2 years there, I took off and I left the country, and today I'm here. I mean, for 35 years, and with the same thing in mind, make sure that we never go back. And it's the same place that we used to be, to make sure that people, empowering people, and learn and position themselves for better discussions and for better discussion in the future. Because Cabral is the future. Cabral was not the past, even present. Cabral is the future. So I think that's all I have to on the space for now.
One of the major legacies of Cape Verdean revolutionary leader Amílcar Cabral, his conviction that liberation for Cape Verde and its brother-in-arms Guinea-Bissau was intertwined with its embrace of Cape Verdean Afro-descent culture. What did this mean for musical genre in Cape Verde and for language policy?
When we talk about Amílcar Cabral, we talk about a very complex historical personality. Cabral wore multiple hats, and he was instrumental in understanding the deep connections between Cabo Verde and Africa. In order to understand this new moment in identitary construction of Cabo Verde, we may want to ask ourselves, how did Cabo Verdeans perceive themselves before the advent of Amílcar Cabral? In the 1930s and the 1940s, particularly, many public intellectuals, they defined Cabo Verde, according to one of them, as a romance experience in the tropics. In other words, that Cabo Verde was essentially a replication of Portuguese culture. We were basically European. That was a dominant trope in Cabo Verde in the 1930s and 1940s. So the great accomplishment of Cabral was to not only criticize that point of view, but to elaborate on the deep connections, historical connections between Cabo Verde and West Africa in particular, by making the argument that we are essentially Africans, and there was nothing wrong in assuming our Africanness. While you had others who, in one way or another, have mentioned that connection. For the first time, we do have a very concise and deeply thought text on showing the connections between Cabo Verde and Africa. Now, obviously, Cabral, as I mentioned, did intervene in many areas. One of the areas that he intervened is the issue of culture. There is one famous quote by Cabral that culture is an act of liberation, and this is something that he emphasized, that we cannot really engage in politics of independence or politics of self-determination without paying attention to culture. Culture is the soul of liberation, in the sense that, if you are aspiring to become a self-determined people, you must also encourage a deep understanding of culture. And obviously, culture is also not a vast area. And to go more specifically to the question that you asked, the politics of independence in Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau under leadership of Cabral also had that musical dimension, if you will. In fact, Cabral himself, according to many reports, was a man of music, really liked music, and some of his poems were reproduced as songs later. But the point that I want to emphasize, to be brief so I can have the conversation flow, is by the mid-1940s, before independence, we do find the PAIGC, which was the Liberation Front, actually producing concrete musical devices to support the cause. There is this couple of albums that need to be emphasized. One by the youth, Cauguiamo, and then there is another great album by, edited after Cabral was killed, in fact, in 1974, but still before the independence of Cabo Verde. Those two albums, they were a collection of revolutionary text. Perhaps we can call it rhythmic revolutionary text, in the sense that it was songs to instill in the minds of the listeners the idea of the political cause and how noble it is. I mean, we can talk perhaps later. I can give you some examples, some of these songs and the type of message that these songs disseminated.
That's good. I think he said it the bulk of it. So I don't think that I'm gonna reinforce that. Cabral, the reason why he fought for cultural injustice. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why he fought, because he lived it. Okay, and when he left, Cape Verde had nothing in the 40s. Okay, it was people starving to death. Mm-hmm. So he had an idea to how we as a people can cultivate our own stuff, speak up our own mind. So Cabral he was concerned that, for example, females and kids, they had no voice. So his struggle he fought for us liberation for culturally. So to make sure that we can do our own thing, do our own music, and build, cultivate our own food, and that's in this sort of thing. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
oh,
I just want to ask one
Yeah,
more question.
please.
Yeah. Just going off what you just said, Calu, would you be able to perhaps define or talk a little bit more with us about Batuku, Funaná, especially Lentu, Sambadu, etc., Tabanka, and tell stories about Kodedidana and his Gaita?
wow. So we can be here for another 2 days, huh?
I'd love to hear it.
So let me see if I can grab my a little bit because first of all, we're gonna start with Batuku, right?
Of course, however
Batuku?
you'd like.
Okay. If you don't mind, put the picture for me.
oh,
Can you
we
get-
got the picture.
You got a picture?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So Batuku, for me, because there's a lot of explanation about what is Batuku, right? But Batuku is the face of Cape Verde. Batuku is the face of Cape Verde. It's the color of Cape Verde. Batuku is engraved in our DNA. Okay, you can see it throughout the country, even though you unconsciously people don't know that you have your cells in your body because you don't teach people Batuku. You're born with it. Okay, but there's a different component because Batuku has two parts. First part is Sambuna. It's when you sing, right? As you call Sambuna, and the Fina song. Okay, there's two parts right there. But we're gonna have later on, after we talk about Batuku here, I'm gonna have you. We're gonna learn together here the different rhythms of Batuku, the components, how they do it. Okay, from the source. Because by me trying to explain it to you, it won't be as easier as if you see it yourself. Okay, we're gonna see and learn together. But Batuku, because of the sexuality of the dancing, see, all of us, you see, is Cape Verdean. I am Cape Verdean. You are Cape Verdean, right?
Oh,
This rainbow all came because Batuku. Okay, because the sexuality of Batuku attract those clones, right? And then you might see different people, different colors, complexions. So that's why I said that all Cape Verdeans, we are Batuku. It's that simple. Cape Verdeans, Batuku is the father of a nation. If you can play the clip for us already, so you can learn how we compose. So do you feel it?
no Sarejeran, Bambam, Chabeta, Corrida Cabral. Isa Bambam, Geisa Chabeta, Já Bambam, Dina Corrida Cabral, Mani Bambam, Neia Corrida Cabral. Carlos Case.
So, did we learn together today something new?
Definitely.
All right. So, if you don't mind, put back the picture, the post. So, this picture right there, it goes to tell you that Batuku, because you see whatever it said right there, it's São Saint, right? Mm-hmm. So, São Saint historically is the last island that was populated, right? So, it means Batuku went all the way up to São Saint, the last island. So Batuku is on our DNA. Wherever you go, Batuku is there. Okay? So because his time is not, we have a very short time to go over a lot of stuff, so we're going to jump right into Tabanca, just to tap into it just a little bit. Tabanca is another musical genre in Cape Verde. Is the purpose of Tabanca is to celebrate saints and stuff, religious celebration. But because they added the paganism to it, so they got banned until 1973. So Tabanca could not showcase at Plateau in downtown Praia because how they did certain things, okay? And then is Tabang is like a kingdom. We have kings, two kings. We have queens. You have a reina. We have mandoras. We have cativs. The name they give things. So it's a lot. Big organization, huge organization. So Tabang itself is another event. Okay. So we're gonna go to Cochipo before we go to Funaná. Go to Cochipo before Funaná because Cochipo is a fusion. Is a type of music produced, born and produced in Cape Verde, but it's a fusion between Funaná Caminho de Ferro, Funaná Caminho de Ferro, and Sucus. Okay, just to give you a perfect example so we can understand better, I have this thing that I came up with. We know horse, animal, horse. We have a donkey. When they made the babies, or what you call mule, right?
Yeah.
So a mule cannot reproduce, right? So Cochipo is almost the same thing. So Cochipo is a fusion between, so mule is not donkey, is not horse, correct? So Cochipo is not Funaná, is not Sucus. It's just Cochipo. Does that make sense? Is clear? Okay, so when we hear people say Cochipo is Funaná, we say no, it's not Funaná. Cochipo is Cochipo. Okay? It's a fusion between Funaná, Caminho de Ferro, and Sucus. Now let's grab Funaná. So Funaná is something very interesting because Funaná, excuse me, through slavery era, some slaves had to escape, right? Escape the system. So they went, especially north side of Santiago, right? But after a while, they found the need of reintegration. They need to come up with something because they subdivided in groups, right? Stay away from each other so it can escape those colonialism back then, which was brutal because they were sent away, São Tomé, South America, all over, okay? But in order for them to reintegrate themselves in the society, they came up with their own way. Actually, they use a lot of metaphors, poems and stuff. They try to conduct this integration through music, because music is the only way, is the best way for them to communicate, actually, for us to communicate. Music is a good way to communicate. Then they create written by the open cans and dry branch from the tree for them to make sticks and stuff. And then they start to communicate between village. And they call the type of music and stuff with the instrument they made, their own instrument, which is cans, open cans and stuff, and bottles. They call a bajulata. So Funaná came in phase in waves. Bajulata first, and then with arrival of Gaita, right? Gaita got exposed to Funaná, not the other way around. Just like morning doesn't come with sun, okay? Sun comes after morning to bring what? Light, energy, and those sort of things. Visibility. Same thing happened with Gaita. But the problem is Gaita came to the Cape Verde with a religious purpose, to be worship, religious ceremonies and stuff. But it went there, it did exactly the opposite. Gaita went there to help them, the colonization to go smooth, right? But it went there, it helped Cape Verdean people in the liberation, because Gaita was no longer used for religious purpose, but for clubbing, parties, weddings, and stuff. Gaita did one thing, positive, but in the other end, the colonialism is, so they saw Gaita as a betrayer, okay? So what they did, they tried to ban I mean, if you have gaita, if they know that you own a gaita, they will chase you down. They will chase you down. They take gaita away from you because the purpose it was defeated, because they brought gaita for colonization, and gaita came to and they did exactly the opposite. Okay, so but in order for them to defend the cause, because gaita is one person played the gaita, they had to introduce something called ferinho, which is faca and ferro, as a defense mechanism. Because right now, if I have my faca and ferro, let me see if I can help show you this. This is ferro, right? This is ferro. If I have this in my hand, you think twice to approach me, to take gaita away from me. Is that correct? So it was defense mechanism and a faca as well. Faca, they use faca in what they do, how you call this?
Scraping.
They scrape it.
Yeah.
To make it sharper.
For those who
if
don't
you
speak
approach
Creole,
it,
faca is a knife.
I'll cut your neck off. Okay? So that way, what they did, okay, you can play it, but you cannot be at city where they call the civilization was. Okay, so gaita, Funaná, it was for small people from outside. And then they kept Funaná in captivity until March 1980, 5 years after independence. Funaná was back there, okay? Thank God, so Cachas, with his vision, he had a smart vision, brilliant with Bulumundu. They were able to, they kept same body, but different clothes. Okay? So they didn't bring fitting with them, gaita either. So they transposed everything to electronic instruments. And when they played for the first time, I was not there, but some people told me stories. And people were shocked. And people, even they kept on asking, this music is from where? It's from Cape Verde? Say, yeah, it's Cape Verde music. Okay? So they were able to take Funaná from outside to the biggest stage to the entire world. Now Funaná is known everywhere. You go, actually, yesterday I was watching people in India dancing Funaná. Okay? So Funaná is something else. Funaná, for me, Funaná is the instrument, the biggest instrument used in the decolonization process in the country. Okay? So we didn't have firearm to fight, but we had music to fight our liberation. Okay, fair enough?
Yeah. Beautiful. So I want to think a little bit, we've talked about, some of the rhythms, some of the instruments. I'm also interested in some of the poetry coming out of, these genres in this period, and how it related to efforts at political mobilization, especially interested in the use of Cape Verdean language, which, Dr. Amado, I know that's something that you've studied a lot. So what are the resonances between political and poetic or musical texts, and what can musical texts do to shift political reality?
Absolutely. So I'm going to focus on a different genre and let Calu talk about Funaná and Batuku. But I want to call your attention to one particular genre, Marna. But still to this day, people often talk about Marna as one of the key musical genre of Cabo Verde. In fact, a few years ago, the government of Cabo Verde applied through UNESCO to make Marna as a sort of immaterial heritage of the world, which still have that status. But what it's important to keep in mind is that Marna has a subcategory that people often neglect to discuss, what I call revolutionary Marna. So before the politics of independence, Marna was still used, but it focused almost entirely on topics like love, longing for your land, and similar topics. Now, in the late 1960s and 1970s, what we do see is the political instrumentalization of the genre to focus on a key political issues. For instance, I mentioned that PIGC album of 1974, right? And one song in particular, which I love a lot, the title is The Sky of São Tomé. Céu de São Tomé. And obviously, in the Cabo Verdean collective subconsciousness, São Tomé means a lot. It means a level of brutality imposed by the colonial state. Thousands of Cabo Verdeans had to go to São Tomé to work as contractors on plantations. Needless to say, they were poorly paid, and working conditions are the worst. And still to this day, when we think about São Tomé, there is a trauma among Cabo Verdeans. Now, that song, Céu de São Tomé, was exactly instrumentalized to bring the political into the music, because once you make a topic as part of a song, it goes to the heart and to the mind of the people. Through continuous singing, that message sticks, if you will. And it was precisely. And just to conclude, because time is not on our side, I want to emphasize another dimension is even when the topic of love was still used in this new subgenre, it was weaved with the political message. For instance, I give you one example, another Morna by Abel Duarte, which celebrates the love to mother, and yet it's still connected to the issue of liberation struggle. Right. So these are the elements. It's not a focus on simply the issues of love, but trying to instrumentalize the message in order to, kind of inciting the people to take a political stance.
And that's, I would just, a response to that, that's really important at this time because other genres were not allowed, like they were banned from the public sphere. So using the vehicle of Morna to do these, expose these revolutionary texts is something really radical.
Yeah. Yes, I just want to follow, echo what you just said, because I remember I was talking to Angelo Barbosa because there was one song called Somada, but because of the restrictions of Funaná and Batuku and them was banned, right? They couldn't do it, they couldn't sing. Then yes, Morna was able to express the struggles and stuff. But there's a song called Somada Quem Quiraues Castigo. And it goes to tell you, ai se me pegava chicudia, então fazer beuldável, mundo boita redondo. But it was probably 1971, right? The song did not get to the public right after independence, because you're not allowed to do it. For example, Caredona said this, nka graba di vapor, man graba lancha be di sara ki panyan leban vapor. So there's certain things that even if you could do it because of Funaná, I believe the Gaita was good to spotlight Funaná, but it was a curse at the same time, because Funaná was doing alone, fine, no problem, until the introduction of Gaita. Okay, but Abel said it right. So Morna was the one musical genre that it was allowed to people to express. So, but the rest it was, but after, because the fight did not end in 1925. The fight begins in 1975, because there was a new fight. Okay, but I just don't want to go more in details because we have a lot of things to discuss at the time.
Yeah.
Not on one side.
So I think we do need to move into the Q&A portion of the event. So there are microphones to be passed around, and I'm sure that both Mr. Moreno, Calu, and Dr. Amado would be happy to take any questions that you have at this time. A brave soul, thank you.
Okay.
Someone's coming to give you a mic.
Thank you. I'm really curious to understand more about that connection to the African continent. I don't know this history, but I'd love to understand better. Do we know actually when peoples were moving from the continent to Cape Verde? Could you talk a little bit about that and which part of the continent they're coming from? That would be at least one question. I'm sure I'll have more.
Should we respond now or wait for whom?
No, you can respond now.
Okay,
Yeah.
just, I'm trying to be as concise as possible because we could easily spend hours talking about this deep connections between Cabo Verde and West Africa. So the official historiography of Cabo Verde states that when the Portuguese sailors first reached the islands of Cabo Verde, they found an empty island. Many scholars refute that, and obviously, I tend to side with the second scholarly opinion, if you will, because for me it does not make any sense that for centuries that the fishermen of Wolof communities, perhaps even by accident, if you think about it, would not reach Cabo Verde, which is right there. Okay, now. Let's just put this debate aside and look at the historical records. So when the Portuguese reached Cabo Verde, they did create a permanent settlement, late 1450s. In the 1466, in order to attract more Portuguese to the newly found colony, the King of Portugal granted them the right to engage in trade with West African coast, and trade not only in a trade that includes human cargoes. That starts this long process of importing enslaved Africans into Cabo Verde. But there is another important dimension that we should talk about. So in the first few decades, or perhaps even the first century, throughout 1500s, the importation of the slave was for domestic consumption, if you will, the importation of enslaved Africans. Now, as you know, with Europeans going to the Americas, it did create a violent Pandora box. So Cabo Verde became more like a trading entrepot that linked Africa to the Americas. In fact, many enslaved Africans who ended up in places like Brazil or even in Spanish America were bought in Cabo Verde. So, and prices of those enslaved Africans in Cabo Verde was more expensive than on West African coast, because while they were in Cabo Verde, they would go through a process of seasoning and christening, making them, perhaps in word that is widely used in slave studies, make them more docile, right, less prone to rebel. So, so you do find Cabo Verde being more like the crossroads of the Atlantic, if you will, linking all these different areas.
When you say West Africa, though, are you speaking of Senegal, Morocco,
Yes, to use contemporary political entities, the connection was deeper with what is today Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. The whole area, the Portuguese called, in the 14, 15, 1600s, they called them the rivers of Guinea. Right, and obviously, at that time there was no such thing as Senegal or Guinea, Republic of Guinea, etc., etc. But that whole area covered all those 4 states that exist today. So enslaved Africans that ended up in Cabo Verde came mostly from the Wolof community, from the Mandinka, those two communities in particular. And you can still find some vestige of Wolof in particular in Cabo Verdean Creole. There are tons of words that are used in Cabo Verdean Creole that are inherited from Wolof. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Hi. So I think today we're seeing a lot of ties between Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau in terms of music with Fatu Jakite, Karina Gomes. I'm wondering historically, what are the musical ties between Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau, whether as music as a political instrument, as an escape for the colonial conditions, or like education means? What I'm interested in the history of it.
Take it. When it comes down to political stuff, it's my right hand right here. You will answer all the questions, political questions. So I'll answer musical questions. Okay.
That is a very interesting question. Again, I'll try to be as concise as possible. We need to bear in mind that Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau, they were part of the Portuguese colonial empire. Needless to say, the connections between those two were extremely high, especially before 1879. Why I'm mentioning this year is that before 1879, what is today Guinea-Bissau was in essence a sub-colony of Cabo Verde. So you had the colony of Cabo Verde that included not only the archipelago of Cabo Verde, the islands, but territorial possessions on West African coast, which today is Guinea-Bissau. So the governor in what is today Cidade Velha and later in Praia ruled not only over the archipelago but also in what is today Guinea-Bissau. So this is just to show the connection. And obviously what happened in 1879, Lisbon decided to break away those two territories to form another colony that they called Portuguese Guinea, what is today Guinea-Bissau. Now, obviously, though you had this political decision of breaking apart those two colonies, the connections were still there. If you go through colonial records or newspapers published in Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau before independence, you will see that the movement of people, goods, and ideas were really intense. Just to give you one simple example, in the 1940s and 1960s, it was very common for a soccer team of Cabo Verde go to Guinea-Bissau and play with soccer team in Guinea-Bissau and vice versa. This is just to show that. Now, what happens in 1960s is at the height of liberation movement, music became an important dimension of bridging those two territories. I mentioned a few minutes ago the album of Cauguiamo. Cauguiamo exactly means Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau. This is a group of youth affiliated with liberation movement. They produced a record where they talked about all the political issues, including the unity between Cabo Verde and Guinea-Bissau. Just to conclude, the first song on that LP and that album is titled Unity Guinea-Bissau, Cabo Verde. So again, using the music to instill a specific political message to the people.
Thank you.
Hi. I really liked you talking about how the gaita was originally brought to Cabo Verde as a kind of a religious instrument, and I know that in Madagascar the same thing happened. They brought in the accordion thinking this was going to be church stuff, and within a generation it was being used for spirit possession, and so forth. They invoke spirit possession. In Ivory Coast, I know that a pair brought in an accordion for the church. And within a generation, the pair's assistants and their children were making pop music among the ballet people in the southern Christian south of Ivory Coast. And so I'm wondering if you have more detail about that, because it seems so fascinating to me about how someone comes in and all of a sudden it transformed into the exact opposite of what they were expecting.
Actually, it was meant to be. Because after 500 years, under the regime, okay, something phenomenal had to happen, okay, which is, in this case, Gaita show up to liberate us from this crazy, bizarre thing. But I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't read this anywhere. This is me thinking, because Cabral said we need to use our mind. In order for us to be free, we must use our mind. So because my interact with Corredidona, for example, because I had an opportunity to talk to him about, for him to explain to me, how did it go? What happened from 59 and beyond? What happened? Because he bought his gaita in 1959 after São Tomé, this flux of immigration to go to São Tomé to try to get better things, better life, accordingly, before they got there, okay, which was another story. But he bought a gaita from someone that came back from São Tomé, and it was a good thing, but it was a nightmare because the religious people, the minister and the priests and stuff, after they found out that he bought a gaita, guess what happened? He had to constantly move to different locations because it was chasing around so they can take a gaita away from him. Until to the point that he got locked up. He got fined. He got fined with 300 escudos, which is equivalent to $3, okay? But back then, he was making only 4 cents a day. So he could not pay the fine. So they sent him to, it was in a municipal court where this thing happened, but they sent him to a federal court in front of a judge to be sentenced to jail, okay? It was brutal, but it's a lot of things that happen that are, right now, probably we don't have much time to go through it, but one thing I'm gonna tell you, gaita was a very important instrument, was the key instrument to help us become free, because we didn't have firearms, so we had something that can gather people together so to fight for common cause. If I know that's going to help you, thank you.
I see one in the back.
How do you feel Cape Verdean music and even politically they've influenced America in a sense? Do you feel as if not just music but political aspirations have also influenced America to adapt to Cape Verdean culture, or just a personal opinion from either one of you?
Just very briefly, and then I'll leave Calu to conclude with this thought. One of the musical genre from the United States that has become truly global as a part of political mobilization is hip-hop. You can make the argument that hip-hop is no longer truly a North American musical construction. You can go to any part of the world, you find that youngsters, they use that musical genre to criticize social and political order. Cabo Verde is not an exception. Since, perhaps in the past 25 to 30 years, we do find a number of Cabo Verdean youngsters, criticizing social order through hip-hop. Hip-hop provides them with a dimension of critique, but I want to emphasize that the hip-hop is used as being indigenized, if you will. So it has some local components. There is one in particular that I really like, and you can find it on YouTube, which is Carta pa Cabral, literally means letter to Amílcar Cabral. That's one of the deepest critique of political order that I saw and that I've listened to in Cabo Verde. It was written by these two bright young musicians. Fantastic. A terrible critique of corruption, a terrible critique of the political order and all the negative things that is happening in Cabo Verde.
Yeah, just to echo a little bit what he just said. In Cape Verde, we have Funaná. We have Funaná. Funaná is older than hip hop. Okay, so people sometimes, I believe this has to do with language. Because Funaná is pronounced, is said in Creole, but hip hop is in English. It sounds more sexy. Okay, but we have go back and revisit because he is there. You go listen to Yanasia Gomi, she will tell you something very interesting. Go listen to Yuntoni Dentidoro, he will tell you something very interesting. Go listen to those people. Because I think this is a language issue, identity issue that we have as a Cape Verdeans. But do yourself a favor. This is a homework. All of us, let's go check Funaná. It will answer all the questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I think that, we do have one more. So I guess we'll take one more question and then we'll move into the workshop portion of the event.
Awesome, thank you. I'm not sure if you answered this, I wasn't here for the whole thing, but so often we sometimes think that there's a disconnect between the generations of our parents that maybe were part of the liberation and the younger generation. And Europe, especially when you think about Cabral, most people know that Cabral existed as a political figure, but the younger generation may not know so much of the history. Do you think that was a specific time in our history that disconnect happened? Do you think it's just the inclusion of Western culture? What, in your opinion, has created this disconnect in generations and cultures in regard to Cabral? I think there's a love there, but in terms of the knowledge and history of Cabral, there's a disconnect.
Well, just very briefly, it is very common to find a disconnect between generations. So, I mean, regardless of the time and space, you do find that the new generation tend to think differently. Now, when it comes to Cabo Verde in particular, I think that one of the major failure of the post-colonial state is not to take advantage of knowledge that we have produced, especially in schooling, in formal schooling. And still to this day, this is something that makes me really sad. Still to this day, our children do not study Cabral. There is, and what we do find in Cabo Verde in particular is a sort of romantic image of Cabral, without going in depth to trying to understand his political meaning and his historical context. This is something that is missing. Now, allow me just to make a connection with Cabo Verdean diaspora because it's very important. So what we do find in the disconnect is many Cabo Verdeans, when they came to the United States, they brought along some of racial ideologies. Trace ideologies from Cabo Verde. And if we know that racial ideologies produced in the Portuguese colonial empire was completely different than what we do find in the United States. In the United States was very simple, either or, the one-drop rule, while in Cabo Verde, or in Portuguese colonial empire in general, was a sort of continuum, right? You have a different gradation of racial categories, if you will. Now, what we do find is many of the first generation, when they came to the United States, obviously they could not be attached to the whites, but they didn't want to be classified as blacks, to be put in the same level as African Americans, so because of the social stigma. Now, they offsprings, the second generation, did a completely different, or took a different position, start to identify with African Americans. And I want to give you one example, which is very, very important, which connects to politics. Oftentimes we talked about a black radical movement in the United States, such as the Black Panther Party. We forgot to mention that here in New Bedford, the leader of Black Panther Party was a Cabo Verdean. So the Frankie Parky Grace, he led the Black Panthers Party. Or you can find other similar examples. This is just to show the social disconnect between two generations.
Awesome. Great job. Great job. Great job. So, like I said, I have right here the political guy. He can take care of all the political aspects of this event. But I just don't want to ruin this show. You did a great job right there. Awesome job, man. So, yes, let's move next.
Okay, so that will conclude the question and answer portion of the event. And now we will move into the workshop. So, Calu, if you want to just take a second to get set up with your mic and guitar and everything, and we'll transition.
But I just want to make one final remark before we get into the thing. Because right now we have a so-called movement, which is Terreiro movement. That we have a lot of good stuff. I will invite you guys to go in there to check our website, because we have a lot of things right there. Some questions you might have by visiting us and in contact. We have our member right here, the mastermind, Angel Barbosa, because we have two masterminds, because we talk a lot daily. We have my brother Pierre Jacinto Fernandes, and the director Rosario, my sister right there. She's the director. So go visit Terreiro website, because in Terreiro you'll find a lot of, because there, lá que Terreiro, te contar como é que passa.
What is the website?
Terreiro music.com. Terreiro.com. Yeah. TERRERU.com. So let me just tell you, Terreiro is a place where you can go there. We accept collaboration of ideas, okay? Where we make sure we value and we empowering people. We teach people the concept, the valuable concept that empower, strengthen you, so you can have a better discussions. You can position yourself in a way that you know exactly what your identity is. Make sense? Okay, thank you. So,
All right, let's, with that, we'll kind of transition.
The second gear now, okay? So we do something, but let's make sure we participate in this, because this is our event. Make sure, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kiki, are you querying? Okay, you paid attention? Good. I invite you. You have a free invitation to Cabo Verde. Okay? So we're gonna introduce you one Cape Verdean. You're gonna be surprised what this young lady can do. Okay? Let me wear this one. You think so? Can I do this? Okay. Okay. So, do you remember I told you that Batuku is the face of Cape Verde? You remember I said that? Okay, I'm going to prove it to you right now. That everybody, if you can breathe, you are part of Batuku. Okay? Let me see. Amado? Sit down.
Oh, you want to sit?
Yeah, I want to sit down. So. I want to sit down. Na terreiro, que terreiro, tá contando cima que passa. Para uma tio que tá contente, mas que ele vai canara.
Chuba chobe, bagu kore,
Papa já nasce, palimares comer. Chuva chove, bago correr. Papa já nasce, palimares comer. Ponha milho na pilão,
ponha milho na pilão,
bamba que finga calerão.
cátaros grande mongolão,
Mamá que soli na milão. Ponha milho na pilão,
ponha milho na pilão,
bamba que finga calerão. Cátaros grande mongolão, mamá que soli na milão.
Chuba chove no lugar de flano, siquilano, beltarano, chiculacha, nalelopi, toni lopi, nangurin. Chuba chove na picontoni, chea, cori, bapolon. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, ai, mocinhos, na novembro, mídio, verde, na rubera, tá comendo lá polon. Ai, mocinhos, na novembro, mídio, verde, na rubera, catem fêmea, catem macho, tá comendo lá polon.
Ai, mocinhos, na novembro, mídio, verde, na rubera,
Catem fêmea, catem macho, tá comendo lá polon. É lá polon, 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 é lá polon. El Apollon, el Apollon. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, ai, mocinhos, na novembro, mídio, verde, na rubera, tá comendo lá polon. Ai, mocinhos, na novembro, mídio, verde, na rubera, catem fêmea, catem macho, tá comendo lá polon.
Ai, mocinhos, na novembro, mídio, verde, na rubera,
Catem fêmea, catem macho, tá comendo lá polon. El Apollon, el Apollon, el Apollon, el Apollon. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Terreiro, cantareiro, tá contando cima que passa. Flávio motivo que eu tô contente, mas ele vai canal, conosco.
Ay, 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 ay,
So now do you see you are Batuku, right? Good. Great job. So she's ready. Can you see she's ready? Phenomenal job. So now we're gonna get to a second part of this thing, which is a workshop, because I think that it's important for the participation. I don't want it to go to place and just sit there and talk to people. I just want to interact with people, so to make sure that we all be part of a thing. You don't want to just sit down and not do nothing. I hate lazy people. You're not lazy, right? Right? So now what we're going to do, I'm going to share with you different things. We have a notepad right there. We're going to compose together. We're going to have an opportunity to compose together, to make a song together. Tonight, we all going to become Cabo Verdeanos. Right, my friend right there? Right? So, but I'm going to walk you through some different rhythms of Funaná that we have. Because we have, so please, it's a disclosure right here. Don't shoot the messenger. Just stick with the message. I'm here just to deliver a message, okay? Funaná, we have a broad variation of a style in different beats and stuff, different tempo, different patterns and stuff. So I'm gonna have an opportunity right now to share with you so we can learn it together. the different patterns that we have, okay? But at the end, we're gonna produce one Funaná, all of us together, okay? Make sure you pay attention because I like good students, okay? It's important. Even though you sit all the way to the top, but you should sit right here, brother. Good students always sit in front. So if you don't mind, play me first. This is my compadre, one of the best drummer that we have in the country. Ah, it's right here, compass.
Cabo Verdean, nascido na Charles Santo Guida de Santiago.
So he's introducing himself. He tells you where he's from. Charles Santo is where he was from. You like Abel Djassi too, right? So you know him. So he's telling us that he did not go to school to learn. Okay. Whatever he does, he's learning by heart. He didn't read it. So he plays all over the world representing Cape Verde. So let's make sure, because you like supposed to clap for him, let's make sure. Okay, this is one type of Funaná that we call compasso pilon. This is you find there's this pattern specific on this song called. You can do your homework. You can take notes. You have a notepad, take notes. When you go home, if you want to know a little bit more about it, you find this pattern on a song called Terra Bufa. Bulimundo, from Bulimundo, okay? So this is one of the pattern on the Funaná, okay? Let's move to the next one.
Compasso pilão. Compasso pilão é um utensílio que está usado na Cabo Verde para comer milho, para fazer aquela comida que mais não adora na Cabo Verde, que é cachupa.
So, do you know cachupa? You know cachupa? Tell I know my friend, you know cachupa.
Okay. Então, tem um ritmo que está fazendo, então, dentro de Funaná, faz aquele ritmo que chama compasso pilão, que põe nome. Deixa eu fazer mais um mês, só para nós entender. Agora, nós também começamos agora a fazer esse ritmo de Cabo Verde que enconche, compreende. Primeiro, tu começa com um que gosta de dar o nome de Cochipoma. Antigamente, esse nome é Caminho de Ferro.
So, Caminho de Ferro means is upscale a little bit in terms of beat, right? But back then, there was no Cochipo. Like I explained, the Cochipo is a fusion from this Caminho de Ferro and Sucus. So now we have Cochipo. But it's going to show us how Caminho de Ferro sounds. And let's pay attention to it. And you can find this beat right here if you go to Milutera, Project Milutera, and the name of the song is Tres Maninho. You'll find this rhythm on there, on that song, okay? So Milutera, Tres Maninho. Let's move next.
A seguir, apresentamos estilo mais lento, que nós chamamos Funaná lento.
So Funaná Morna, pretty much. This one. Okay. For example, this type of beat you find, for example, in Tom Martins, Bulimundo, Rufam Barel, Finação. You can find with the Rosa Mess project, the Passage. You can just do your homework. You find those type of beats on those type of songs. Okay, it's well known in Cape Verde diversity of Funaná. You find those type of songs. Okay, next.
É só ritmo que você mostra dentro de Funaná. Dentro de Funaná tem um gênero que não está expressa, tanto de fase compasso pilão, de fase caminho de ferro, de fase Funaná lento. Gosto também de fazer um Funaná sambado, que é Funamba.
So this type of beat is very common as well. I can give you a song that you remember. Já falaram uma democracia, exaba sucundir, mas hoje não sei gozadinho, hein? Já sei, não claro? So it's a bunch. Actually, I have last year my song was recognized the best Funaná in the country. It was the type Funaná like this. The name of it is Fla do Fla. You can look it up by Tony Barros, featuring Ferrogaita and them, okay? So we can move next.
Agora temos outro ritmo que gosta de eu, que é também dentro de Funaná, que ele chama Febre. Funaná, estilo de febre.
So this is the song, if you're familiar with Bulmundo, right? Febre Funaná. It says, hey, 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 Sorari Chara São Francisco. This song, okay? And this is the only style. I never heard anything else like this. It's a beautiful song. You can go on YouTube, you can listen to it. It's a very beautiful song, okay?
Que é Funaná, que é cozinha mais. Bom, ele fica entre Caminho de Ferro e Funaná Manso, que é Funaná que não pode chamar corrida acabar.
So same thing that happens in Batuku, right? You remember Corrida Cavalo pattern? You find in Funaná as well, okay? Because Funaná allows you to mix, to put it together, different rhythms, and it sounds perfect. It doesn't fight with anything, but Funaná is open to collaborate, okay? Same thing.
Então, depois, eu tenho mais outro estilo. Mas dentro do Funaná tem uma variedade. Eu tenho que não chama tanto já falo de Funaná Sambal, que é Funamba.
Let me see if you can help him, because he forgot.
Funaná
there, okay?
Gosto, não tem mais que não pode fazer que ligeiramente ainda fica entre Funaná, Caminho de Ferro e também Funaná, Corrida a Cavalo, que é um Funaná mais que mais está tocado, que é o estilo que mais está tocado na ferro.
So this type you call Funaná compassado. You call this pattern Funaná compassado. So this is a more common Funaná in the country, okay? This type of pattern, Funaná compassado. But we have one type, which was a mix. It's not one type. We mix a lot of patterns together that we can find in interior. One Funaná that we honoring Cachas. The name of the song is Cachas. So we mix compasso pilão, we mix terra bufa, we mix Funaná compassado. So it sounds beautiful. So go there, you're gonna enjoy listening to it. Okay? Interior music.
Consoante beat que ele usa, depois ele trabalha fora também, entre caixa, prato e bombo. Agora, dentro de Funaná, portanto, na Ilha Santiago tem o Funaná, Batuku, Tabanca, e que esses três gêneros que mais se tocar. Gosto de também fazer tabanca. Yeah.
So this is tabanca, right? What he's doing right now is tabanca, called tabanca. Okay? Usually is a but you can always, Funaná and tabanca, they can always mix together, right? You can play tabanca within Funaná. It doesn't disturb you of listen, because they brothers and sisters, right? Tabanca and Funaná, they brothers and sisters, so they can get along pretty well, so you have no problems, okay? They can be played in same time. You don't feel it, the difference. Okay, so this whatever part you play right now is tabanca pure, but he does tabanca and Funaná combined. Can you play next clip?
Tabanca criou ritmo que mistura tabanca com Funaná. Que fazer ali também que é mais certo intensamente dentro que as ritmos que já tinha feito. Então me faz também alguns de novo só para dar cozinha de cheiro diferente. Dentro de tabanca, fazer mistura tabanca, Funaná.
So he's telling us
tabanca, posso dar com Funaná.
Okay, so let you see, you just saw the mix of two different patterns together. They go together smoothly. You don't feel any fighting while they both play at the same time. Okay, actually, he created this rhythm himself. He found a way so they can combine them, so it will be beautiful in the song. Okay, so actually, we have one song that we're producing right now that is. He played just like that in that song. So I want to invite you later on for you to be in touch. We keep in touch for you to listen to it. It's something good for your ears, okay?
Tem mais como que lida dá mais ou menos para nós ter ideia, mais ou menos dentro do ritmo de Cabo Verde, mais precisamente da Ilha Santiago, o seguinte tempo. Que ali é só falando de Funaná e tabanca, que as dois estilos de música que me fazem demo, só para eu ter ideia mais ou menos, dentro na Ilha Santiago, na Funaná, com tabanca, a música que está fazendo. Tem Batuku, na Ilha Santiago, toca morna, mazurca, toca músicas begin, tanto que tudo que eu gosto de antigas, mas que eles são demo que me fazem de Funaná. Se tiver mais oportunidade, posso fazer mais e melhor. Só para terminar com o compasso pilão.
Put a hand together for him right there. You know, he loves this, guys. Believe me, he loves recognition. But he did a great job. He's one of the greatest that we have in the country, okay? But like I said at the beginning when I started talking about Funaná, Funaná is no longer Santiago's music. After 1980, so the border was broken. It was unleashed to the entire world. Like I said yesterday, a friend of mine, Djassi, my brother, he sent me this clip so for me to listen to it. A friend of ours from Terreiro sent us this clip from India. They were playing and dancing in Funaná, in India. So Funaná is no longer Cape Verdean music. Forget about Santiago's music, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start doing our composition and stuff. Huh? We'll do composition. You think there's time to do it? What time? We have 30
minutes. So.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. So what I'm gonna invite you guys to do, after all this, did we learn something here tonight? Mm-hmm. Did we? So it's fair to ask your participation on a couple of verses on the paper. Supposed to do something together here. Because at the end of every event, you must take home something. Don't just come in, enjoy the snacks and listen to me talk sometimes no sense and stuff. To Abel Djassi, by the way, did he do a great job? Give us a hand for him. Fantastic job. But do me a favor, we're gonna do this together. I'm gonna go around and make sure that you are contribute with something. I wanna make sure that you learn something. In order for me to make sure that you learn, I wanna see that you're doing some writing so I can, I'm not gonna judge you, just write whatever you think in verses so we can do something together at the end. Is that a deal? And I'll go around and help you for us to do it together. Okay? Yeah, I mean, use, team up, let's team up, right? So you can discuss, probably one verse or two verses is fine, okay? And we're gonna put it together. This is how we compose music, by the way. I'll do something, I'll send to my brother right here. He does something else, he sends to my brother right there. And then we go around, circle, and we send back, and then we sit down and we discuss. This is how we do it. We do the same thing right now. This is, by the way, this is a terreiro, okay? This is a terreiro. We're gonna pretend that we are in terreiro, we do things together, and at the end, we collectively, we really gotta try to come up with one line, at least one line with melody. We have the mastermind right here. He can help us create one line, at least one line, guys, please. Can we do it? Yeah. All right, let's go. Please, Melanie, do it. Please do it, you and Cisco. All right, thank you. Kiki, can you do it? Okay, make sure you do it. And by the way, I have something here for you, too. You need one? You need one. Okay, please. Yeah. Take something right here that I wrote. Got one. Wow. Got one from someone. It's amazing. Wow. You see this? Yes, sir. Someone already wrote it. English school. English school. Yeah. Let me play something for you. Let me play something for you. While you do it, but do it though. I'm gonna play. Okay. Let me see that. Which one can I play? Come on. Hoje em dia, se alguém dá bom dia, abre porta, faz e bujobi só, se sol já sair. Mundo de hoje é sobre a geriça, uma galinha na boruca sabe que conhece pra ir longe. No atadita no meio, sopa que puxa coberta, marudo muito forte no mundo e na zapa bem. No atadita no meio, sopa que puxa coberta, marudo muito forte no mundo na sana boronceira. Hoje em dia, se alguém falou bom dia, abre porta, faz e bujobi só, se sol já sai. Mundo de hoje é só gaiatiça, uma galinha na boruca sabe que acontece pra ir longe. Exatamente no meio, sopa que puxa coberta, marudo muito forte na munila zapa bem. Exatamente no meio, sopa que puxa coberta, marudo muito forte na munila zapa bem. Cria vergonha, busca de porta de alguém, busca moda menino, sempre lá piro em alguém. Cria vergonha, busca de porta de alguém, busca moda menino, sempre bom buru em alguém. Cuquel que Deus dá, cacuquel que pecador crê, mas cunharos vê na chão. Mines mundo crê vive só, cuquel que Deus dá, cacuquel que pecador crê, mas cunharos vê na chão. Mines mundo vive só, cuquel que Deus dá, cacuquel que pecador crê, mas cunharos vê na chão. Mines mundo crê vive só, cuquel que Deus dá, cacuquel que pecador crê, mas cunharos vê na chão. Mines mundo vive só, cuquel que Deus dá, cacuquel que pecador crê, cunharos vê na chão. Hoje em dia, I see you working. I'm paying attention. So you want one more? Okay, let me see. It's too many. Okay, let me see. I want to play one, Funaná Manso. Okay? Na 60 para 70, minha cunhabaca barira, com meninos pequenotes, que considerei tudo torto. Punhabaca na açougue, paguram cria mocinhos, pecador que tem consciência, toma minha carne que paga, da coragem bala empresa, na cabo chefe local, na Denis Frederico, pra compadre boas horas. Rema que tem água, bom jardim sariba lá, boa fé na Deus, boca tere, contra fé que bura média. Rema que tem água, contra fé sariba lá, boa fé na Deus, boca tere, contra fé que bura média. Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. Esse é coitado. Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. É pecado, João. Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. É pecado. Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. Esse é coitado, meu. Rema, rema, que tem água. Bom jardim sariba lá. Boa fé na Deus, boca ter. Contra a fé que é pura média. Rema, rema, que tem água. Bom jardim sariba lá. Boa fé na Deus, boca ter. Contra a fé que é pura média. Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. É pecado. Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. Esse é coitado meu. Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. Can you sing together? Kusar alguém que botoma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. É pecado. Can you help me, Ruby? So do you like this song? Right? It's simple. Kusar alguém que o toma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. É pecado. Kusar alguém que o toma, que faria de viúva com o pobre. Esse é coitado, João. Rema, rema, que tem água. Bom jardim sariba lá. Por fé na Deus, boca tere. Contra fé que pura média. Simple, come on, guys. You're not collaborating. What is this? So, are you done? You almost done? What time? Time we have? 15 minutes. All right, let's see what you guys got. Let me see. You got it? Awesome. Let's one captain. Can you put one captain? Can you bring the paperwork? One captain. Yeah, one captain. One person. I want to see what you wrote. Great job. Thank you very much. Yes, she's right there. Cachupa. Wow. You have a title, Cachupa, right here. What was your name? Liana. Sheila. Okay, you guys, let me see what you did right here. Yeah, make sure you put your name on it for me to know. Make sure you put your name on it.
That's it. That's what I'm responsible for.
Thank you. What do you do?
This is from Melody and that's ours.
This is Boku Mami?
Well, me, Melody.
Melody?
Melody is this part. This is us.
This is awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Somar, can you help me sort this thing so we can put something together? Please, if you don't mind. But yeah. No, let's try to have a verse of each. Let's try to do something together to show them that. Yes, Elise supposed to do Because,
Marcas na inglês não botar deal para
we figured it out.
Uh-huh.
We figured it out. We figured it out because I want to make sure they would grab at least 1 or 2 verses. Okay. We're gonna do create a 1 line.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Wow, que ele começa, music is the tool.
Yeah, you hear that? Okay.
Prepara, olha, de cada por exemplo.
De cada mas music is the tool. Our voice.
Yeah, não põe aquele melhor, seleciona o X.
Yeah. Give us like 5 minutes, right? Well, 5 minutes. Guys, very quickly, we were able to put like four verses together out of all you guys did, because we don't have much time. We want to make sure we got something out of this. So someone wrote, music is the tool. You remember who did? Right here. Okay, great job, great job. What kind of a world do we want? Right there? Great job right there. Someone else wrote this. Na minha casa, porta é sempre aberta. So, in my house, the door is always open. Na minha casa, não, na minha mesa é sempre posto. It means the food is always ready. Very nice verse right there. So quickly, because we don't have much time, because 6 o'clock we are here. Okay, so because of the time, but I'm gonna go through this. I'll keep all this, right? Believe me, I'm gonna do a nice song out of this. But let's try a line here tonight. We're gonna create melody together. Is that cool? Okay. So does anybody here, we have singers in the house? Anybody can sing? She's just kidding. This is my wife, I know her. Anybody? Volunteer, come here, please, come here. Said, can you put a nice round of applause for her? Okay, let's grab this. So this is music is the tool. Mm-hmm. What kind of a world do we want? Okay, let me just see if I can create an harmony, simple, very simple, okay. With three chords. Let me see. Let me see something.
Check 1.
So I play, you come up with a melody.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see.
Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want?
Can you see what she's doing? Okay. Music is the tool.
Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want?
There you go. Can we do that? Okay.
Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want?
Give her a round of applause. That's a great job, right? See, imagine if you do that every single day. You do one thing like this every single day. Do you know for 360 days where you want to be?
A world away.
Yes.
New world.
Do it tomorrow, tonight. Do this tomorrow. Do something to add into it, and keep on doing every single day. Because next year we're gonna have something like this somewhere. So she's gonna be a full capacity and the unbelievable singer.
All right.
Can we record her? Can we record her right now? Let's go.
Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool. What kind of world do we want? Music is the tool for the world that we want. Music is the tool for the world that we want.
Great job! Awesome, good job. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, okay?
I'm gonna give you back.
It's back to me, so thank you. So guys, we have only 5 minutes left, right? 5 minutes to wrap up. So after this, we're gonna have reception. So there's some snacks there. Bob, good seeing you, man. Good seeing you. Yes. So you didn't want to do anything, singing or nothing, or dancing, nothing? Cabo Verdean. But I would like to thank you, all of you guys, to be here tonight, this afternoon, because you could have done a million things, but you chose to be here, and we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, the sound engineering right here, and the team right there. Thank you, Ruby, and remind me your name? Alexandra, and the team, the planning team, to put this event together, because it's important to us, not only in the perspective for us to share what we have to share, but for us to learn different things among each other, okay? So thank you very much. Thank you so much. I wish you guys a happy and safely weekend, because it's a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen out there. Make sure you be safe. If you drink, don't drive. Actually, we don't have a drink up here, but if you drink, don't drive, please, because you are important. So next time we want to meet you guys and invite some people so we can have fun by sharing our culture to the world. So it's a great honor for me to stand before you and to be able to do what I did. And I don't take you slightly. You are very important to me to listen here, listen to me, sit here, listen to me. So thank you so much once again, and bless you. Have a wonderful weekend.